The movie opens in the quiet town of Badger in northern Pennsylvania, where a small family is peacefully preparing for dinner. This serenity is abruptly shattered by a massive explosion outside their house. The blast is so powerful that it knocks the family unconscious. When they regain consciousness, they hear mysterious sounds outside their home and soon begin to experience alarming symptoms. They struggle to breathe, and one by one, they start coughing up blood. Tragically, each member of the family ultimately succumbs to these mysterious and deadly effects. The movie then shifts to a scene with Lauren, an X-ray biologist who is in her room when she hears news reports about the impact of climate change. This news deeply affects her, leading her to submerge herself in a bathtub with a glass of wine, her mind haunted by memories from her childhood. Shortly after, the narrative takes a turn as soldiers arrive at Lauren's residence. They urgently request her presence at the site of the explosion, emphasizing the need for her expertise. Reluctantly, Lauren agrees to go with them. Upon her arrival at the explosion site, Lauren, along with an astrobiologist named David, is briefed by Colonel Emery. He explains that the source of the explosion and subsequent toxic gas was a meteorite. Strangely, the meteorite has disappeared, having dissolved into the ground. Colonel Emery implores Lauren and David to investigate the area and provide their professional insights. Colonel Emmerich expresses his trust in Lauren's abilities, citing her renowned reputation. He believes that if there is any extraterrestrial element involved in the incident, Lauren will be able to identify it with a keen sense of purpose. Lauren and David proceed to the site of the meteorite crash. While David does not find anything unusual, Lauren's attention is drawn to a small red plant growing from the crater. She is intrigued by its presence and begins a detailed examination, led by its unique characteristics. Upon returning home, Lauren's curiosity drives her to explore the dark web in search of information about similar incidents worldwide. She discovers that a comparable event occurred in Russia, where a similar meteorite released poisonous gases, causing numerous deaths. However, the Russian government managed to suppress the information and destroy the alien object, despite an eyewitness interview. The mystery deepens when the woman who spoke out is found dead days later, adding a layer of intrigue and danger to the unfolding events of the movie. Shortly after, 2 doctors were observed preparing for an autopsy on the deceased father from the family who fell victim to the toxic air emanating from the meteorite. As they examined the body, they observed that his skin appeared unusually normal for someone who had passed away, and the body lacked the typical stiffness associated with death. Upon making an incision, a strange, shiny black liquid emerged, only to be reabsorbed into the body in a shocking turn of events. The supposedly lifeless man suddenly sat upright, causing one of the doctors to flee in terror while the other attempted to communicate with him. The man remained unresponsive and motionless, with his head bowed down. A check for a pulse revealed none, and his body was alarmingly cold. This phenomenon left Lauren and the observing scientists utterly perplexed. The situation escalated when everyone's phones started ringing simultaneously, signaling that numerous deceased individuals from the town had mysteriously come back to life in a similar manner. The media erupted in chaos over these developments, and key figures from various government branches converged on the scene. Doctors attempted to elicit responses from the resurrected by showing them photographs of their families and homes, but these efforts proved fruitless. A government official questioned why only 49 people had been reanimated when the death toll was over 1,300. A scientist speculated that only those who were in proximity to the meteorite crash site had risen. He suggested that they had inhaled not just the toxic air but also particles from the meteorite, which seemed to be transforming their internal organs. During this conversation, one of the reanimated individuals moved, a phenomenon the scientist noted as increasingly common. He revealed that all the resurrected individuals seemed to be oriented in a specific direction. Lauren discussed the situation with Emmerich, drawing parallels to a similar incident in Russia. However, her reliance on information sourced from the dark web led Emmerich to doubt her claims at a White House meeting. It was disclosed that the resurrected exhibited no signs of heartbeat, respiration, or brain activity. In their bodies and tissues lie unfamiliar elements and compounds, with their DNA fundamentally resequenced into a life form seemingly of alien origin. A military general suggests incinerating the bodies, but Lauren persists in her theory of a Russian cover-up, met with skepticism. Cautious about drastic measures, the president refrains from authorizing incineration and urges further research to comprehend these extraordinary occurrences. For Lauren, the narrative takes a personal turn as the exobiologist grapples with the overwhelming events. Seeking solace in alcohol, she drinks heavily in her car, triggering a flashback to her childhood. She recalls her father taking her to a secret location and urging her to keep it from everyone, including her mother. This mysterious and suspicious memory troubles her, leading her to take a pill to cope. Efforts to communicate with the risen dead persist, yet all attempts prove fruitless. Lauren's frustration grows as she desperately seeks any reaction from them. In a moment of desperation, she enters the room where the resurrected are kept and approaches a little girl among them. Lauren offers her a childhood favorite, Galaxy Far Beyond, and shares a personal story, revealing her abnormal lack of tears when her mother died at 10. During this interaction, Lauren receives a phone call. As she takes out her phone, the little girl notices the wallpaper, an image of the red plant from the meteorite crash site. To Lauren's astonishment, the girl suddenly grabs her arm. This unexpected reaction prompts Lauren to inform Emmerich that the girl responded to the image of the plant. David, another scientist, observes that all the risen dead are oriented towards the crash site, drawing a parallel to the sacred direction of Mecca for Muslims. The plot deepens as news spreads about a colossal tree-like structure rapidly growing at the meteorite crash site within a mere 2 days. Upon reaching the site, Lauren and David are astonished to witness the once small plant transform into an enormous tree. This arboreal giant not only alters the soil but also creates a toxic atmosphere, rendering the air hazardous for humans. Convinced that the risen will react to the tree, Lauren persuades Colonel Emmerich to bring one of the resurrected individuals to the site. Initially, nothing transpires when they place a risen man in front of the tree. However, in a startling turn of events, the man takes a breath, his eyes now a bright blue, examining his body as if seeing it for the first time. He reveals himself as an alien, dependent on the tree to survive, as the standard Earth environment is incompatible with his existence. This revelation unveils the true nature of the rise and the profound implications of the meteorites. Impact, propelling the story into uncharted territory. Taking a significant step, Lauren holds a press conference to share her findings. She explains to the gathered reporters that just as Earth plants produce vital oxygen for human life, the alien tree provides life-sustaining elements for extraterrestrial beings. When questioned about how the aliens reached Earth, Lauren mentions reports of wormholes near their solar system, suggesting a possible interstellar travel route. Back at her home, Lauren receives a message from her therapist expressing a desire to discuss her recurring flying dreams. During this reflective moment, Lauren's father pays her a visit. Their interaction is marked by awkwardness and emotional distance. Lauren's father reminisces about her childhood passion for science, recalling how she desired a science lab for her birthday and used an old shed for experiments. He mentions Lauren's mother's concern about her intense interest in science and space, despite his attempts to connect. Despite Lauren's father's visit, a palpable distance remains, leading to his eventual departure. The military urgently summons Lauren, as the alien refuses to communicate with anyone but her. In a profound conversation, Lauren questions the alien about its purpose on Earth. It reveals that its home planet became uninhabitable, compelling its species to seek refuge on a new world. Intriguingly, the alien discloses that a human, known as Supernova 94, provided them with comprehensive information about Earth, including the strengths and weaknesses of humans. Tensions escalate when David attempts to take a sample from the tree, provoking the alien's anger. The alien insists that Lauren halt their actions, but she finds herself unable to intervene. She informs the alien about the military's plan to destroy the tree. In response, the alien demonstrates hostility and extraordinary powers by controlling David's mind, unleashing chaos among the soldiers. The situation turns deadly as the soldiers, driven mad by the alien's abilities, turn on each other. Simultaneously, the military launches an offensive against the tree and the alien, but their efforts are thwarted by an invisible force field protecting the tree. Reports of strange, ominous phenomena emerge globally, with unsettling sounds emanating from various natural sources. As Lauren watches news of worldwide calamities, including dying crops, earthquakes, and terrifying sounds, humanity faces the looming threat of extinction. In response, the military decides to incinerate the victims, unwilling to risk further alien interaction. Amidst this apocalyptic scenario, Lauren chooses to journey to the town where the meteorite crashed. She visits her childhood home one last time, finding her father sitting alone. Despite the imminent danger, Lauren experiences an unexpected sense of freedom as she embarks on her final journey, leaving her past behind in the intense climax of the movie. Upon arriving at the alien tree, Lauren immediately notices its altered appearance, which is indicative of a transformation. The alien explains to Lauren that her presence has been instrumental in triggering these events. He reveals to Lauren that she was involved in an incident she has no recollection of, initiating the unlocking of her suppressed memories. The revelation triggers a flashback that transports Lauren back to a secretive journey she made as a child, following her father's instructions to keep their destination undisclosed. Her father, a senator deeply immersed in classified projects related to extraterrestrial life at Area 51, was summoned regarding an alien capture. Driven by curiosity, young Lauren secretly trailed her father inside the facility in the flashback. During this clandestine visit, Lauren discovers that the alien was attempting to plant something on Earth and possessed the ability to fly. Overwhelmed by curiosity, she enters the room where the alien's body is stored and touches the alien's pod. This contact initiates a mysterious process, transferring the alien's consciousness into Lauren's home. Subsequently, Lauren's extraordinary scientific talents begin to manifest. She confides in her schoolteachers, claiming to be an alien attempting to return home. Her unconventional behavior leads to social isolation, and she spends countless hours in her shed engrossed in scientific projects. Lauren constructs an advanced radio and starts sending messages into space, identifying herself as Supernova 94, a name found on her calendar that eventually reveals her true identity when her mother discovers these communications. Lauren's mother forbids her from using the shed, prompting a fierce reaction. Lauren covers the walls with drawings of wings, and a doctor informs her father that she possesses DNA from an unknown species, making her only half human. In the present, the alien removes Lauren's helmet, revealing her newfound ability to breathe the once toxic air. The realization of her true identity, and the source of her lifelong struggles, brings Lauren to tears. Meanwhile, Lauren's father, overwhelmed by the revelation of her true nature, mourns the unfolding reality. Across the globe, peculiar egg-shaped objects are connected to the main tree surface, releasing smoke that transforms the atmosphere to accommodate the alien species but proves lethal for humans. Faced with the imminent threat of extinction, the planet undergoes a radical transformation. The movie concludes with the alien tree dominating the Earth. In a moment of acceptance, Lauren finally acknowledges her identity and sprouts a wing, symbolizing her profound connection to the alien race. With newfound clarity, she recognizes that she has discovered her true home, marking the conclusion of a journey filled with discovery,